And welcome back to the 4th Street Sports Show. That was Leave the Door Open by Silk Sonic, Bruno Mars, and Anderson Paak. And now we have a very interesting interview today. For again, this is another double interview. This is our second one, but
Heyo.
this is very special because this is the first time we have a Southern Miss athletic couple who are engaged.
Super couple right there.
So, Charlie, do you want to do the honors here by introducing our guests?
Yeah, so we have, for the first time, too, a football player, but also if you were at the game last Saturday, you saw that Mr. Tahj Sykes proposed to his girlfriend, Miss Sarah Preston. So congratulations, y'all, to start off.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Fiance.
Well, fiance, sorry, I'm getting terminology.
Terminology.
Yes,
Getting a little ahead of yourself there.
'cause she said yes, yeah.
Say yes.
So thank y'all for coming on the show.
Thank you
and
for having us.
Yeah, we're really proud to have y'all on, and this was just a surprise to us. So
Yes.
we know it might have been a surprise to you, Sarah.
It was a surprise to me.
Could you just talk about that moment and what went down? Could y'all talk about Tahj? You can talk about maybe the plan and what your reaction was, Sarah.
All right, well, I can go. I can start off with the
Okay,
plan.
you start.
The marketing, I can really just got to give thanks to the marketing people because they the one that set everything up. I wasn't nervous until I had to go out there. I was like, oh, man, this is a big moment. I'm pacing for it. I was like, okay, I know what I got to do. I got to go hug my family then. They're going to keep the music, and then I got to get on the knee.
Mhm.
I was like, okay. The guys were joking, man, what did she say no? What did she say no? I was like, well, ooh, I'm having a bad game, she said. But it was all good, though. She started crying, so that's all I wanted to see what she was going to cry.
How long have you been
Yeah,
planning this?
Ooh. Well, how long was it?
I mean,
I mean,
I think every couple like talks about like,
Mhm.
like after this time, or like I feel good about this.
yeah.
From what I've been told, you've been playing this for like not a couple months, but like a good solid like month of like action, plan, execute.
Yeah. It was a battle. I mean, let's see. Once I finally got to go ahead from my parents, it was showtime at that point. So everything just fell in place at that moment.
Kind
So.
of started to pop your collar a little
Yeah. Stick my chest out a little bit.
And Sarah, could you just say what your reaction was when you figured it was
Yeah.
happening?
Well, so the way they did like senior night was all the family and like girlfriends were outside the stadium, and then they walked us in, and they were like calling like, oh, the Sykes family, oh, the Moody family, or et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, why are we last? And then my old teammate Sam,
Stick
she
with my
was,
hair.
yeah, she was the one that was like kind of running it, and she's like, okay, like y'all are gonna be on the 50. I'm like, this isn't an alphabetical order, and it's not a number order. And I was like, okay, well maybe it's just like random. So I get on the field, and I just was already emotional that day because it's his last game. Like, I've been with him for 2 seasons now. It just was like, I went through it, like being retired and like giving that up almost, and I was already emotional about that. And I didn't really notice, but now when I watch videos back, like I see all the camera people coming around me, but I thought it was for like a senior day picture, not for what it was. But it was good.
Gotcha.
It was great. Yeah, he got me good.
And just a little backstory, I guess. Could y'all talk about when y'all first met? And I know you said 2 seasons ago, so
Yeah.
but the story
Uh,
maybe of when y'all first met.
Do you want me to tell it?
I tell my version.
No, because your version isn't the right version.
We met.
Shade.
It all started because I had a dog I was trying to get rid of, and I couldn't handle the dog, so she texted me and said, "Well, wait a minute, I got a teammate, or I take the dog." So
Because I'm the girl that will pull over on the side of the road at like 2 a.m. and get the dog from the road.
yes.
So, of course, I see an irresponsible football player
Oh.
that got a dog that could not handle it. So I'm like, okay, this dog's about to be put in the pound. Like, let me come to the rescue. And we're like DMing, and I'm like, okay, let me find somebody or I'll take it. And then the next morning, I think it was, I texted him or DM'd him, and I was like, hey, do you still have the dog? And he's like, no, I got rid of it. I'm like, oh, dang, like, I wish I could have gotten it, or my teammate would have taken it. And then he's very slick.
Yeah. She has a old English bulldog, and she sent a picture of him, and I was like, well, she said, well, I can't take my, I already have a dog. I said, well, don't your boyfriend help you take care of that dog? She said, no, I don't have a boyfriend. I said, light bulb clicked in my head. I said, well,
So he shot his shot and
Yeah.
made it.
So where's that dog now? We gotta thank that
Yeah, shout out
dog
to
for
the
bringing
dog.
He's
We
Not-
don't know. We don't have. I gave it to a teammate, and I guess he got rid of it. And I haven't seen the
Yeah.
dog since. So I hope he's okay.
We've heard of plenty student athlete couples, especially with football and soccer.
Yeah.
Could y'all just talk about maybe how y'all supported each other, both going kind of through
Oh,
the same
gosh.
journeys?
Yeah. Well, we got together after COVID had hit. So that like fall. So like we started talking, and then my season had just been canceled. And to me that was like devastating because we already got canceled out of spring. And especially like that year, that team, like we like really hustled that summer, and it was just very like emotional. And then we had seniors that were graduating in December, and we're like, dang, like that was our last season together, like, and we had no clue. So he was he was there for me a lot, and it was cool to be like a football girlfriend and really go to all the home games. So that was kind of a fun experience. So that was really good for us.
And in the spring, I had to return the favor and go to all her home soccer games. You know.
Yeah.
And it was some games it was cold, but soccer games are, I feel like, very much longer than a football game.
Not true.
'Cause she wants me there at the warm ups, not before the game. You know.
But I would be there for warm up, so it was only fair.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just gonna budge in. I feel
Go
like
ahead.
with all the breaks in the football games
Yeah,
are a lot
Thank
longer.
you. It's like
3
4 hours.
You don't have media in soccer. You just don't have media.
And then
time.
he's like, "Come to Eagle Walk." I'm like, "Well, that's like a 5-hour day then." Like,
Yes.
oh my gosh.
Hey, at least you got to see what they go through.
Yeah.
Would you consider Sarah as your number one fan, Tahj?
Oh yeah, she's a big supporter in my life, and I couldn't be the man I am today without her. So I give her props for that.
And what did it mean to have somebody like that in the crowd? Just knowing while you're playing.
It's my motivation. I get to see her every day, and she smiling at me, telling me how good I'm, how great job I'm doing, and just when I leave the field, and I know I have that type of support system, it just makes me want to go harder for her. So.
Could you just talk about some of those emotions that you might have felt on senior night?
Oh man,
Past the proposal.
past the proposal.
Yeah.
What when I started looking around the field in the fourth quarter when the game was
It
almost
was
over.
like the third quarter.
Yeah, so I started looking around the field, looking at the stadiums and stuff, and I was like, man, I've been here since 2017, and it's all over with. I mean, I still had 1 year eligibility left, but my body was just, it was time for me to hang it up. So, I mean, I love those guys in the locker room, and they were just hugging me, telling me, they were proud of me having her as a teammate and as a leader. So that means the world to me also. So that was really good.
And just with all the work you put in over the past years, you've been through a lot of different things at Southern Miss, and these last 2 years have been arguably, the most turbulent years in Southern Miss history.
Yeah.
What do you think you've just learned through that process, and just how you feel reflecting on your time here?
Man, just seeing it through, man. No matter how hard it gets, you still got. It's a job at the end of the day. I mean, you still gotta come up there and go to work because they want you to produce. So I mean, you can't go up there and just because the situation not going good, you cannot go up there and perform at your best because the team needs you, the coaches need you, and whoever the people on your name on your back needs you. So I represent something bigger than me at the end of the day. So I can't sit there and mope and complain about the situation. I got to just take one step ahead and just push through.
Yeah, you kind of talked about your body being banged up a little bit, and just the adversity, like Charlie said, of just dealing with everything. How did you persevere through that? You had a couple of games where you were banged up and missed a couple. Just talk about just where was your mindset at, throughout this season.
Man, it was hard. I mean, first game of the season against who played the first game of the season?
South Alabama.
South
Yeah,
Alabama.
South
I was hurt that game. I mean, I had to get a shot for that game because my ankle was messed up, and man, that was just hard. Then I got hurt again at Alabama with my back, and then I didn't play the UTSA game. I had a concussion. I was like, man. So when stuff like that happens, you just gotta stay positive because you got younger guys looking up at you, and you don't want to bring that type of bad energy around. So you always got to stay positive. I mean, you can pound and mope behind closed doors, but once you out in the open, you got to put your tough hat on. So.
And Sarah, what's that like? You know,
Yeah.
watching Tahj going through all that, and especially at the one of the most physical positions,
Yeah.
if not the most physical in football.
Yeah, I think last fall was a little bit tougher, like just emotionally with all the changes. I mean, I think COVID like showed every athlete that nothing is guaranteed. So I think last year seeing like just emotionally like going through coaches, and I mean, we've had the privilege to get close to some of these coaches and their families and stuff, and at the end of the day, that's like a family with kids sometimes, and all that moving around is tough. It is sometimes a little scary when I'm watching, and I'm like, that is 300-pound men on top of my boyfriend. Like, wow. So I think like that kind of stuff makes me nervous. But he always has a smile on his face. But he knows when it's like, okay, I need to sit down for a sec. So that's good.
Oh yeah.
Could you just let the viewers know also, Sarah, like how life has been for you out the soccer and everything here?
Yeah, I'm from California, so this move to the South was like very challenging the first 6 months. The teammates that were there, like I'm pretty sure I cried like once a week my first like 6 months. It's just different culturally. But I fell in love with Hattiesburg. And so after retirement, I knew I wanted to stay here. Just because like our church family, like the people we've met, the connections we've made, like home is here now for me. So it hasn't been too bad, honestly. I think for a lot of athletes that like last year was their last year playing, when our seasons got pushed to the spring, we're like, yeah, this is it. So I kind of had those emotions in the fall, so it wasn't too like sad. I have a great job, great family here, so I'm really happy. Yeah.
Reflecting on your time here, Tahj, do you have a favorite memory? It can be in game or in the locker room or just outside of the sport. Do you have a favorite memory?
Let me see. My favorite memory for like playing on a football field was probably against La Tech, 2018. I want to say that was like one of my first starts, and and I made like a big time play at the 50-yard line, and they turned the ball. Well, it made them have to punt the ball, so I can probably walk on that field and just replay that whole play in my head, and just one of my proudest moments. And and then that same year again, honorable mention. So, and I got honorable mention the following year. I had got a all freshman team that year, so that was pretty big.
What's one teammate on the team that you built that strongest bond with? Or
Oh, I know the answer.
Well, my best man, Marvin Ross. That guy's, we've been through a lot together, from pledging and when he first came in, I gave him his first nickname. His last name is Ross, so I said, you know what, I'm gonna call you Rose.
you do the hum with it.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's my guy, man. He stayed solid with me through these years, so and he's my roommate now, so that's crazy.
Sarah, do you kind of get tired of him a little bit?
Whoa.
I love Marv. Like I see how much he cares for Tahj and he cares for me, and that's all I could ask for someone in both our lives.
That's a good response.
Yeah.
But under pressure. But yeah, going on that, I think y'all's motto last year had something to do with brotherhood, and obviously that goes throughout any year.
Yeah.
But especially with everything y'all went through, COVID, coaching changes last year, and then this year getting new coaches, adjusting to the quarterback situation, on and on and on.
Yeah.
What did it mean to have, that support cast, especially those who, stuck with you throughout?
I mean, man, like I said, it means a lot. Coming in a situation like that, no program wants to be able to have to lose two of your projected starter quarterbacks, and I give props to Jake Lane for stepping in. I mean, a walk-on that was a scout quarterback, now he's having to start. That's a big step. A lot of pressure on his shoulders, and I don't see how he did it, but props to him for doing that and taking that role for the team. And Will Hall is such a great caller. I mean, I don't know why we didn't do that with the six, the Wildcat.
Mm-hmm.
Probably would have won more games, but hey.
Oh, we gotta ask that because the fans are going crazy about it right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Just
yeah.
what was your initial reaction to when you saw that depth chart that hey, Frank Gore is gonna be our quarterback this week?
Well, when I first did it, I said, well, it's kind of going to be hard to stop it because if you with the Wildcat, either you're going to drop all your safeties down and play the run, and then I didn't know Frank Gore can throw the ball like that. And when I seen him throw, I said, oh buddy, this finna cause some trouble for a lot of teams if we keep doing this. So, I mean, and look, we won 2 games back to back. So, I mean, that's big.
And what energy did you feel? Did you feel a shift in momentum?
Yeah, the culture changed dramatically after that. You know, after we get the first win, I mean, because we was on a big losing streak, and, you know, that's not ever good. That's hard to come to practice when you on a losing streak like that. And once you finally get that break and you see that stuff is working, I mean, everybody's excited to come to practice at that point.
Was that kind of hard on you, like just seeing like how the offense was performing at, you know, early on in the season, and then coming back, how the defense was top tier? At first, you had number 2 rushing defense in the nation at one point in time. Was that kind of tough?
I mean, as a defense, I mean, we can only control what we can control. I mean, at the beginning of the season, some guys on the team will get mad at offense. I'll be like, listen, are you gonna go out there and score a touchdown for them, or are you gonna go throw a touchdown pass? I mean, we only handle our yard, so don't go over there and try to mess with their yard. I mean, we still got work to do on our end as well. I mean, and it's always said like this: if they don't score, they don't win. So we can kick a field goal 3-0, we win. So we still got to do our job at the end of the day.
And before the season started, there was I think a lot of I guess criticism or skepticism about the defensive line just before the season, including from media, like us too.
Or about being small.
Well, not just that, but just production, and then
Yeah.
it seemed it was the reverse of what we.
I mean, because we added a lot of key players like Josh Carr. I mean, it's a great rusher at the end. When then teams had to either double him to keep him from back there. Then once you got other people like Ratcliffe and Eric Kitchen, I mean, we're not small guys. I mean, we're 280 plus. So. That's a lot to deal with when you have somebody coming at you with technique and a motor like that. So,
and just where I was going with that is just with all the different D lines that you've been a part of. How did you feel about this group and their effort, especially under Coach Armstrong and what he was able to do?
This group was interesting. I mean, a lot of young guys still gonna be there, and it wasn't that many old guys. So I mean. It was like me, Eric, and Cole, and Crawford. He transferred from Virginia Tech. So, I mean, it was like a roller coaster at some points. I mean, because I've been here for so long. I'd have been on the teams when we was like ranked top 5 in the nation after the whole season. I mean, and that year we played Quattro and beat teams. So, I mean, it's a big difference.
And Sarah, how much did you learn about football? Did you ever get tired about hearing about football at home or anything like that?
I mean, I think for me, Tahj does a pretty good job of like separating football from like me.
Yes.
And same thing, like if I try when I have a bad day at school, like to make sure I don't bring that to him. I think what's tougher is like being in those stands sometimes, like Southern Miss to the top, baby. But some of our fans are ruthless.
Yes.
And I giggle because I went to the South Al game, and I like made that trip with another girlfriend, and some of the fans were just like dogging us, and I was like, "Do you want to get hit by a 300-pound man? If the answer is no, close your mouth. If the answer is yes, then go ahead and put a shirt on." So the football talk doesn't bother me. I mean, I think that D-line group was a good group of guys. Coach Lissy was great.
Oh yeah.
So I think it was that part didn't bother me. I think the other part of it did.
What kind of did Coach Lacey and Armstrong kind of say to you before the game, you know, your last game and stuff like that? You know, what was the message to you?
Man, they was just telling me that they was basically proud of me how I handled a lot of situations and just go out with a bang on my last game. So, I mean, it's all love with those coaches, man. They came in and changed the program, and I believe in what they're trying to teach, and I'm just ready to see what they're gonna do next year. So. It's all love, man.
You mentioned that, you know, from a physical standpoint, you think your body's, you know, done with football, but with a sport that you've poured, you know, years of life's work into.
Yeah.
Have you thought about how that's gonna go and just after life after football, what that's gonna be like? Or do you see yourself in the sport any longer?
She wants me to, but man, right now I'm just gonna enjoy this little moment I have off and then see what that takes me. I mean, if the opportunity come knocking, I kind of be a fool not to take it. But right now I'm just enjoying life, man, working and trying to get ready to start a family. So
And I guess just what's next for y'all?
Yeah.
Y'all are newly engaged.
When the wedding.
We actually set a wedding date.
Yeah.
But we're gonna keep that a surprise.
yeah,
Okay.
we have a
that's-
wedding date set already.
That's a surprise. Well, I mean, I'm teaching here at Oak Grove, and I mean, to me, Hattiesburg's home. I fell in love with Hattiesburg. So looking at probably buying a house next. Yeah, probably gonna stay here and enjoy Hattiesburg for a couple of years.
Yeah. I'm trying to little hint Pedal School District. You might need if you're looking for a coach. Holler at your boy.
All right, holla at Pedal.
Sykes, you got around too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Pedal's got a good program
Yeah,
going
they do.
on. I think they could use Mr. Sykes. We thank y'all again for coming on. We had a blast and just hearing y'all's story.
Oh, yeah.
And congratulations
Thank
again.
you.
Congratulations.
Wishing
Congratulations.
all the best to you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And keep an eye, Pedal.
Those sights on the way.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, that was Tahj Sykes and Sarah Preston. Again, thank you for coming on today. When we come back, we will have our debate section. This is the 4th Street Sports Show, and this is Southern Miss Radio. And that was California Love by Tupac featuring Dr. Dre. And welcome back to the 4th Street Sports Show. Once again, we would like to thank Tahj Sykes and Sarah Preston for stopping by 4th Street today. And also congratulations on their engagement and all their future coming up and everything too. But now we move on to our debate section. And football just wrapped up this past Saturday with our last, not only home game, but last game of the season against FIU with a dominant win. And basically, I'm going to pass it around to everybody in the room. What is your impression on this season?
Well, obviously, one of the most disastrous seasons in Southern Miss history. You can't, even though it ended on a high note, you can't, look past that. But all season long, we heard Coach Hall saying, this is building a program, and then he ended saying that a program is going to take, time to build, and it's headed in that direction. And that's what the end of the season did provide. It does look like it is heading in that direction. And as Tahj said, it was definitely just turned into a different culture. And that's what Hall has been about this whole time, trying to build that culture. And you see how quick that shifted. That was, I would say, mainly due to the Superback offense, which, fans.
Yeah, that was a much needed
Too much
adrenaline
needed
pulse that the
Yes.
fans needed. Definitely.
So there's a lot to work on, but
Yes.
it's going to be a lot of changes. We've already seen Please enter the transfer
Yes.
portal. We're probably going to see a lot of other players enter the transfer portal soon. But we're also going to see a bunch of additions to this team, some
Yeah.
highly touted recruits.
There's been a lot of guys that have entered that transfer portal from Southern Miss, but it's a new age now. You know what I'm saying? Will Hall first season is under his belt. Now we get to see an actual quarterback who probably stays healthy for the next season.
Yeah.
I'm saying
If they
probably
don't
because
stick
I don't
with
want to
the-
I don't want to jinx nothing because what we saw this year, we had the Superback situation going on, but first season under the belt, like Tahj said, he's changing the culture. He talked about buying in and how everybody's bought in. So it's definitely interesting. And those last two games, to me, have saved a lot of fans for Southern Miss.
Right.
Kind of hopes right now. Just seeing them close out that way, which was a much needed way to enter into the next season with recruiting and everything going on, and just shows you that Southern Miss could be so versatile with the Superback scheme. And I'm so glad that Will Hall thought of this and came to this conclusion that the Superbacks were needed at this juncture.
I felt like that was the most positive ending for a 3-9 season. Fans were acting like we're the top of the conference.
Yeah, like I'm like, you gotta chill,
Yeah.
bro. Like
Yeah.
no.
But I
Yeah.
mean, it was great to see. I blasted it at first, but it
You
was.
did blast it.
Yeah, and I was in that same club,
It wa-
and let me tell you that
Alright.
I think that the super back situation was the best thing that could have happened to the team. It
Mhm.
really was, because it brought a whole new energy to the locker room, because because you could tell that after a while some of those guys were starting to get a little bit disappointed, and it was sort of getting to them a little bit, but with that flurry of great offense that brought about, the quality wins that we were getting towards the end of that season, I think that it was fantastic timing for the program and certainly for the players as well, morale wise.
And I mean,
Yeah.
you heard Taj even. That's why I wanted
Yes.
to ask him about, what did y'all first think? Because you're on this longest losing streak since 2013, and your coach says, all right, we're not playing quarterbacks. We're putting our guy Frank Gore in there.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be some, I don't want to say laughs, but kind of disapproval. And I bet Hall did a great job of convincing them in meetings and everything. And at that point, I bet a lot of players bought into it. But
Yeah.
also, there had to be some disapproval of it.
Of course, I mean, it'll be much disapproval from the quarterbacks. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I mean, Jake Lang, he kind of stepped in there. I'm sure, I don't know how he was on it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he played it cool or not, but I'm pretty sure he was kind of a little bit, showed a little bit of disinterest in it because he thought he was the quarterback for the time being for the rest of the season, or other guys who thought they might have a shot at the quarterback position, like a T. Webb or
Yeah.
some of those other guys. But it was definitely some disapproval there. I'm not gonna lie, but just to see them close out that way, even in the UTSA game, and I'm not a guy that goes for like more victories, but just to see how they started out that game, and you just saw like what Todd said here, how it changed around the culture. It definitely brought back energy. And sometimes, when you're losing, you gotta find a way to bring back energy. And Will Hall did it this year. Like I said, I admit I was wrong. I know mid-season we had, beginning of preseason we had our
Yeah.
predictions, and I said 7-5.
I was the
Mid-season,
closest.
Same. I said the same with you.
Mid-season, I was totally in doubt. I said,
Yeah.
you know what, guys?
This might be a 1-11 season.
Yeah, this might be a 1-11 season. We you know what I'm saying? You got your scout team quarterback in, who's now your starting quarterback come in. I'm like, I don't know if they can win a game, but for them to close out the way they did, and it was special just to see that last game and how they were rolling. Is special.
It was, because I think if I had to say something about the season, I think UTSA was the kind of turning point.
Yeah, that was very much
kind of the turning point.
the team's coming out party. Like,
Again-
hey, we're here.
Yeah, again, and that was the debut of the Superbacks, and honestly, I made a prediction. I said, for poop and giggles, I said we might win this game. We might win this game, and we might cause a lot of trouble for UTSA, and they did. To their credit, they did. The first half, they made it tough for UTSA, and then UTSA came back and did what they did to win the game. But after that, it seemed like everything just started turning around. That La Tech game showed a lot too, and the FIU game showed a lot as well with the system that he did. And then, but also I'm looking at the schedule and the scores again. Despite some, excluding the blowouts from by Alabama, South Alabama, UAB, Middle Tennessee, Middleton, and North Texas, some of these games were actually close. The UTSA game was close. The
Rice.
the UTEP game was a 2-possession game. Rice was.
Let's not forget how close that Troy game was at one
Yeah, that was close at one point. The Rice game. I'm like, these games, it's just, despite everything that they went through this season, there were still times where they could have won games and it was close. And I do have to give them credit for that, because again, despite the blowouts I just named earlier, like those games right there, this could have been like a 6-and-something season, or like a 5-and-something season instead of 3-9. But it's just, I'm like, it's certain things though. This is a tough year for Coach Will Hall, but now Coach Hall has the confidence to put this behind them and now move forward, and not only recruiting and everything going forward though now. And we have 2 quarterbacks who will be coming back next season when you think about it. those two injury, and I think looking at this season, I think that brings them more confidence as well too. Like when I come back, I gotta be better because we don't want to see another 3-9 season or 4-win season or something like that. So the one thing that's what I will give this Southern Miss team credit for. But Coach Will Hall has a long way to go though.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I have to say. He has a long way to go. So fans, don't get on him too much because those last 2 wins were very big to close out the season.
See, I'm gonna play a little bit. Sorry, Austin.
Go ahead, Charles.
So I want to bring up sort of like a devil's advocate situation here. What if next season Will Hall brings back the super back situation?
Well, you see, that's what all the fans are asking. He said himself that
in the press conference.
because this is you can check this in an article that will be out in the Student Prince tomorrow.
Oh, shameless
But
plug.
That
Let's
was a
go.
good plug.
He said that that's not going to be their primary offense. That was an emergency situation. Next season they will have quarterbacks. He said that that's their program. They want to have a winning quarterback. They want to have a franchise quarterback. Why would you opt for instability rather than having at the most important position in the game have your guy?
Well, ironically enough, that instability that you brought up with air quotes brought about the stability that the team needed.
If they can get their guy, they will get their guy because they need those other guys, the superbacks. They need them to be doing their job fully. Frank Gore wasn't taking as many carries at that position.
And he was banged up.
He was hurt. But
definitely rest up, big fella, because we're gonna need you to ball out again next season.
What you saw was a small sample size. You run that 12 times in one season, I doubt you have as much success as you did this season. That being said, they will feature the superback offense next year. He did say that.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't mind seeing it because I feel like this opens up when a quarterback when they have their guy back at quarterback. I think we will see a lot of wildcat position come. A lot of wildcat plays, a lot of wildcat positions, a lot of receivers and running backs throwing the ball and those type of things. I wouldn't mind seeing the Hattiesburg special at one point. If you get that reference,
Congratulations.
You get a cookie.
Yes, you get a cookie.
Also, I want to point this out. We're going back to the quarterback and superback situation. What you said, Charlie, about him saying that we were going to have, they were going to have a quarterback, a real deal quarterback, and have those guys get back into their positions. It was something interesting he said when asked that question on the quarterback situation. He was like, are we going to see superbacks more or next season? Will this be in the scheme? He was like, you will see it, but we're going to get back to the regular way of playing with a quarterback. And he said we have a young man named Ty Keys. I'm just throwing that out. I mean, he said Ty Keys now.
Before anybody else.
Yeah, before anybody else. I thought that was a key thing in that, you know what I'm saying? And
No
I'm
pun
not blowing
intended.
it out of proportion, but he said Ty Keys, and it looked like he's trying to move forward with Ty Keys. I don't know where Trey Lowe is going to go. I don't know if he's going to transfer or anything of that matter, but he didn't bring up Trey Lowe's name. That's interesting. I know Ty Keys is the future, but it's something that most Southern fans might or may know now. But just to blink, like you said, 2 quarterbacks coming back, Kobe. But who's to say Trey Lowe comes back to Southern Miss? I'm just throwing it out there.
And he threw in the possibility of a transfer.
Yeah, he threw in the possibility of a transfer. He didn't say Trey Lowe's name, which is interesting to say. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but he did bring up Ty Keys' name first, and he is the future of Southern Miss.
Yeah, he was. And we saw it at Alabama. Despite us getting blown out 63-14, Ty Keys had some very nice plays during that game. He had a lot of quality runs. He still managed to throw 2 touchdowns. Wait, no, he threw a touchdown to Chandler Pittman, and Chandler Pittman ran it in. But he still had a nice game despite the score, actually. And to do that against a defense that is very credited, like what Nick Saban and all of them do, that is something to think about. And before he went out, he was starting to make his name.
Yeah, true freshman.
Yeah.
What he did was special, but I believe they do have to add strength. Interesting play, Miles Brennan. It might not be his
Yeah.
first choice, but if somehow they were able to pull that card, I would just like to see them, throw him in the
He's a
mix.
Mississippi boy.
Yeah,
it
he
will be
is.
very-
He's a
it will be
coast
very-
boy too.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting.
And
too.
Hall has showed promising offense. People respect him
Yeah.
in college football as an offensive play caller.
Yeah.
If Miles Brennan, wants to continue his career, it might be, it's a
I
step
think
down
that's
from
kinda
LSU,
wild.
but
I think that's wild. I don't. I mean, it's a possibility,
it is.
but it's a slim chance. I don't see
Yeah.
that happening.
Maybe-
but I don't know.
It's another.
I just feel like you just
Sorry,
have to
brother.
move forward with Ty Keys. But go ahead.
Yeah, not to cut you wisdom, my guy,
Yeah.
but you know what else is a slim chance? But
no.
know what else
Don't
is a
say it.
slim
Don't say
chance?
it.
That's
It doesn't begin with an S.
SR.
SR.
Oh, no, that's
Cause
no
he,
chance.
Cause he
That's
is.
not even a
I'm
slim
like,
chance.
hey, never say never.
My boy going to USC. he
Yeah,
might end up
probably.
at USC. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Lincoln Riley. No, probably not with Lincoln Riley. No.
Nope.
I don't know. I'm just
Never.
saying.
Hey, never say never. It
Never
may
say
happen. It may happen.
never.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That's,
never-
that's wild.
Hey, never say never.
That's
But
wild.
yeah, but I definitely, despite, I've definitely enjoyed this season though. It was a tough season to get through at one point, but but we had some definitely light spots and stuff to work on, of course, though too. We had injuries, so that kind of like had really kind of limited us a lot. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that this team, I think Will Hall will get this squad together and get them going and pretty much just pretty much build them up, especially going into the Sun Belt in 23, I
Mhm.
believe. So
As early as July.
as early as July. So yeah, but
No later than July, matter of fact.
yeah,
No later
so,
than July. But another thing, I want to highlight this. And during the season, everybody was like, "Oh my God, the offensive line sucks. Oh my God, this is the worst offensive line." Like, you know how fans just blow things out of proportion. But I gotta give the offensive
Yeah.
line some some credit. And I don't think a lot of people doing it, but for them just to adjust because they were
Yeah.
struggling. Let's just be honest, they were struggling terribly.
12 different people under the center. I mean, come on. You gotta.
I think they were struggling way before that.
I mean, no.
Not
yeah,
to throw
yeah,
shots,
yeah.
but they were.
Yeah.
We saw them. Me and Charlie, we saw them from the press box, and just looking at them, it was tough watch. It was tough watching it,
Mm-hmm.
especially
Yeah.
that South Alabama game to start the season.
They-
It was tough,
They adjusted. We'll say
but
that.
they did all right. But yeah, they did adjust it. I do give them that credit. From
And
that, though, too.
everybody was under the circumstances. So, again, stability. That's the key, I think, for future. You got to get those players healthy, and then just find your guy. And
Yeah.
we'll wrap it up here.
Wait,
but
yeah, and I got something to add after that too. But yeah, sorry.
I just wanted to say, going back to that transfer thing, if we're adding a transfer, that is an interesting. That's kind
Yeah,
of the
very.
question I want to know, because do you bring in somebody that overshadows Ty Keys? Because we know Ty
Oh.
Keys is the future, but
It-
if you
it's-
bring in
it
a guy like
hinders. Yeah.
Miles, you gotta play him now.
You only get one. That's the thing about it.
Yeah.
Is you only get 1 year out of the guy.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, you get 1 year. Now you have to go back to Ty Keys in his
Yeah.
junior year now or whatever. Maybe.
Well,
his
he's still redshirted.
Yeah, so he'll be a sophomore.
He'll be
year.
a sophomore. So
But
I see that
still,
as a
yeah.
potential. Like, that's a question that will have to be
I
answered by the
wouldn't-
coaching
Yeah,
staff.
that's a
Yeah.
question too.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't risk it only because I'm like, if I'm gonna move forward with somebody, which is Ty Keys, and you feel that you can move forward with him, move forward with him instead of bringing in a guy that you're only gonna have for 1 year.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? He's got to learn a new system. He's got to learn a new offense. How other guys gonna adjust to him? Don't get me wrong. He can. He is a baller. We've seen him.
Mm-hmm.
Play. So, yeah, it's just you have to be.
Consistent.
Yeah.
I think you got to make up your mind. That's my
Yeah,
biggest
right.
thing. Like I said in
say
that.
stick with what you got.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You're not gonna be Bears head coach.
Matt Nagy.
Nagy,
Yeah.
Nagy.
Brian LaFleur.
Yeah, not
Right.
going
Yeah.
back and forth.
Brian Flores for
Playing for his job, quite literally.
Yeah. But I'll also one last thing to add before we do go in the break. I hope the so it's a big off season. It's gonna be a long off season too. But I hope everything does come together and come together fast, because if you follow our friend of the show, Demon Mixon, he put out the first 4 games
that's
for
a tough
next
schedule.
season. Those are the Liberty University,
Holla,
Miami, Florida on the road in Miami,
holla,
Northwestern State here in Hattiesburg,
gotcha.
and and Will Hall returns to Tulane for Week 4 in New
Ooh,
Orleans,
snap.
which I will most likely be at. But
That schedule it's a pretty good schedule.
it's a very
You
interesting
got
schedule
some,
last
it's a
week.
very interesting schedule. If I had to give my prediction just off those, I would
Yeah.
say 1-3 right now. That's just my honest truth.
Yeah.
But
It's a very interesting. So we'll see what happens in the offseason next going forward into next season.
also,
But
I just want to add this too: 322 rushing yards. You know,
way in the
this
pack
week against FIU.
this week. Okay,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? This is the first time I believe since the FAU game that they had
Mhm.
over 300 rushing yards. Am I right, Charlie?
I don't know.
I'm
We'll
getting my
have to
stats
check.
wrong. I might be
Yeah.
getting my stats wrong right here, but they haven't ran for 300 in a long time.
And that's a
Right.
big
Yeah.
part of Coach Hall's offense. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that stat right
Yeah,
coming
we
back
gonna
from the
see,
break,
we
but
gonna
that's
see.
just humongous just to see that. It was
Right.
the first 300 rushing yard game of the year. So
Very. So but yeah, that's been our debate section.
Wait, hang on a second. Charlie actually had a quote from Coach that he wanted to potentially play. Do we still play that quote, Charlie?
go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead. 'Cause
Play
it's
the
from-
clip.
It's from the man himself.
Play the clip. Let's get it. This is Coach Hall, right? Do I remember that correctly?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
for the
yes.
final
Okay,
quote of
cool.
the
Final
season.
quote of the season. We're going to go into a little break here, and we'll be back with Flowers here on WUSM.
Forward. We want to be a quarterback-driven program that recruits and develops quarterback. We signed the Player of the Year in Mississippi at quarterback last year. We're signing the best quarterback in Mississippi this year. That's going to be a trend that continues because we're a quarterback development position, have been everywhere. Again, desperate times, right? Call for desperate measures, and we were in desperate times. Anybody that thinks this wasn't desperate ought to have to be here during the week on a Monday, a Tuesday, and a Wednesday. This was desperate times. But our kids rallied and, snapping to our best player, creating angles and leverage. And then old Brownlee, gives us an advantage out there on the edge. And we make plays. And it's been fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the show. We're now giving flowers.
Yes, thank you, Logan. It is that time where we give our flowers to current and former Southern Miss athletes who have received honors during the week or who have just like regular honors during the week, whether that's on the field or off the field. First, we start off with to all the graduating seniors graduating this semester, delving into new chapters in your life. Thank you. We wish you all the best luck in your future and everything too, and we hope that you will always keep Southern Miss in your heart and always come back and put on for Southern Miss as well, though. To our future leader, you're our future leaders, and we depend on you. So yeah.
Also, flowers to, once again, Frank Gore Jr.
Frankie
who-
Frank.
Yeah, for the third time now, won the 4th Street
Yep.
Player of the Week.
Oh,
That's-
man, he's up there with Kendall Minnick.
Yeah, that's also
Yeah.
3 straight weeks for the Superbacks.
The Superbacks
Yeah.
almost caught the soccer team.
And
Almost.
I'll be a little personal biased just because
Yes.
I think Jay Stanley deserved to be right up there because
That was
this
my pick.
Yeah, this
That was my
man
pick.
how on 3 separate plays to
That was
get 3
definitely my pick.
turnovers in the first quarter, let alone in a football game.
He was all over the field in that first half. He was my pick, and I already said it to y'all in the group chat. I said
Yes.
that's my pick for this week.
Mm-hmm.
Nomination, that's who my vote goes to. He had a really great job this
Yeah,
week. So
that's a
shout out to Jay
historic
Stanley.
performance.
Also, flowers to men's basketball Tyler Stevenson for 2 straight double-doubles, and Rashad Bolden for posting his 4th most efficient outing from the field in Southern Miss history, and just his 5th game at Southern Miss. That performance earned him a Conference USA Freshman of the Week award. So shout out to Tyler Stevenson and
Big
Rashad Bolden as well. Of course, we would like to send our flowers and give our love and everything to Tahj Sykes and Sarah Preston on their engagement that just happened this past week before the game against FIU. Definitely everything to it with all that.
I'm
as
definitely
well.
waiting on my invitation. Guys, I'm waiting on that invitation.
Yeah.
Invitation.
Yeah. Also, we got to send a happy birthday to a friend of the show, Miss Mia Wesley from
Shout
the
out
volleyball
Mia.
team.
Hey.
Feliz cumpleaños a ti.
Yep, what Charlie said. So
Yeah,
so,
what he
so
said.
happy birthday to Mia. Also, we gotta send flowers to our own in this room. This Friday, Charlie and his girlfriend Rosie
Oh, thank you.
will be celebrating 4 years together.
Charlie should be taking the playbook out of Tahj.
Yeah.
Playbook right now.
We
should
might
he
we'll
should be
see,
taking
we'll
it.
see what happens. But,
Charlie like
but-
not right now.
but couldn't-
I'll do the fake kneel. Fake kneel.
Yeah.
Quarterback kneel. Fake.
Will you move in with me?
I mean, I
No.
think that's already happened.
Yeah. Ice Shack. But
It was-
anyway,
it was a joke from that one
Yes,
movie.
but
Anyway,
so-
wait. I wanted to give a shout out to a couple of teams from Mississippi. Shout out to Ole Miss and State for qualifying for the national tournament in volleyball.
Yeah.
No, we don't do that here.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Also-
congratulations to them representing Mississippi well. Oh, and also congratulations to Ole Miss for competing in the cross country nationals. The men placed 10th overall, I believe, and the women placed like 12th or 13th. I looked it up the other night, but
Yeah.
they did great, and they swept the regionals. So
We don't show love to Ole Miss and Mississippi State on this show, Charles.
well, we show love for the state.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
true. That is
that's
true.
for the state. So
Mississippi.
Also, you guys know what's happening this weekend, this Friday and Saturday.
Yup.
The MHSAA
bruh.
football championships.
At the Rock.
Oh,
at the Rock.
I can't wait to go, bro. The past 2 times it's been here, I haven't had a chance to go. This time I'm gonna find whether I have to buy a ticket, whether I'm a media, I gotta see what's going on, bro.
I just want to shout out all those teams. That's
Shout out
true.
to all of them.
I'm gonna be there.
I know you will. I know you will.
You guys have to be there too.
Oh, I'm gonna try to be there. Ain't no doubt about that. Ain't no doubt about that. So, but yeah, shout out to all the teams though too, and maybe who knows? They may be potential.
Some of them
Players
are.
are-
Some of them are.
Yeah, some of them are.
We got an
them are.
Alabama recruit playing in the Rock.
So
Yes.
Holy moly!
so we may see.
Donut
So
shop.
we may see a lot. Yeah. So we may see a lot of good. We're gonna see a lot of good games. A lot of potential scouts. A lot of people who could potentially play in the Rock in the Southern Miss uniform. So definitely go show your love and go check that out this weekend as well. But
And just to add, well, this is going back to Southern Miss football, and I don't mean to cut you off, but
Mhm.
300 rushing yards, I did get that stat correct. The last time Southern Miss rushed for 300-plus rushing yards was against FAU
right.
in the last game of the season. That was just something to point out.
Right.
I did get that correct.
Yes,
I just
you did.
want to get my stats
You
right.
did.
You know? So.
But yeah, so it's about that time. Of course, like every week, we always went over, but I think we had a.
It wouldn't
this
be a
was-
4th Street show without us
al-
going
Oh,
over.
yeah.
always. But it was a really great show. Really great show this week. Again, we like to thank Tahj Sykes and Sarah Preston for stopping through 4th Street today and pretty much talking with us and everything too. And yeah, but like always tune into our show, WUSM 88.5.
That's where you're at right now.
SouthernMissRadio.com, Facebook Live, the TuneIn Radio app. And shout out to everybody. Speaking of Facebook Live, shout out to everybody in our Facebook Live. Thank you for coming through, showing love, commenting, and everything too. Also, and everything. Speaking of that, social media. Follow our Facebook page. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Everything as well. If you missed today's show, the show will be up on all podcast streaming platforms tomorrow. So definitely check that out as well. Check out the Student Prince as well. Check out Southern Miss TV as well. And everything we got going on here at the Media Center.
Did you state this was our last episode? For a
No, we
while?
didn't. It
Yeah,
will
we
be.
didn't. Yeah, you're right.
You gotta let the fans know where we
For
going.
those who are listening to us now, this will be our last episode for a while.
We will be back.
But we will be
We will be back.
We
We will make like the Rock and return.
Yes, we
Yes.
and then leave again. But I'm kidding. We will. This is our last show for right now. We have to take a break, take a little quick hiatus, but we will be back.
And
We will-
rolling.
So
in,
definitely follow
in
us
just
all.
spring. We got spring sports, y'all.
Yeah.
Sí, vamos a regresar.
So definitely follow us on all social media
Yeah,
platforms. for
I
our return.
almost have 100 followers. I'm at 99 right now. Please follow me on Twitter
Please.
at Charles Media
Please.
310.
Por favor.
No, wait, no. What I meant by please please go retweet and like Charles's last post. Because if you get the joke, you get it.
I don't
It's
think
an inside
anybody
joke.
gets the joke. It's an inside joke with us.
You go retweet it and like it anyway.
If you happen to get that joke, either you're a super fan or you're a stalker. Or both. I don't know.
We'll know.
We don't know. The world may never know.
Yeah. So we will be back. So this is our last show for a while. We will be back though, of course, especially in the spring. We bring it baseball. Oh, I'm on my game now. My
Yes,
team won the
sir.
World Series, so I'm definitely on my game for the College World Series and everything too.
And softball.
And
yeah.
softball, of course.
Let's
And-
not forget track.
Track and field. I know.
Track,
Austin,
I'm looking forward to the track season, y'all.
I know Austin is too.
Yes.
I know Austin. You're a runner. You're a track star.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you already know. You already know.
Yeah. So, but yeah. All right. So let's get out of here. Once again, my name is Kobe.
My name is Charles, not Charlie.
My name is Charlie, not Charles.
And the famous Smooth Off.
What makes you famous, bro?
Because I'm smooth.
Gotcha. Understandable.
We are the 4th Street Sportsmen. This has been the 4th Street Sports Show. Peace and love, everyone. Everybody have a great day and great week.
Yeah, and a good Christmas holiday.
Yes.
Hasta luego.
And a new year.
3, 2, 1.
Thanks for listening to the 4th Street Sports Show. Tune in next week, Tuesday, 5 p.m.